Welcome to Hearts and History, the channel where tales of love travel across centuries, cultures, and gentle landscapes. Each story is woven to soothe, inspire, and offer a moment of calm reflection. If you find comfort in these journeys through time and tenderness, we invite you to subscribe, share with friends, or simply listen as you unwind. Let our stories become a gentle part of your routine and restful moments. Tonight, we invite you to settle in for the Lanterns of Kyoto. In this episode, we wander the lantern-lit streets of Edo-period Japan, where cherry blossoms fall softly and lovers communicate under a gentle moonlit sky. Expect a journey laced with longing, hidden poems, and the quiet rituals that defined romance in a time long past. Breathe deeply. Let your imagination unfurl like delicate petals in the gradual dusk of old Kyoto. Chapter 1. Beneath Cherry Blossom Shadows. The year is 1777, and Kyoto glows with the quiet promise of spring. Slender boughs above drift in pale rain, each blossom a promise suspended in time. Ancient streets wind past wooden homes, lanterns painting golden light on cobbled stone. There is a hush, a gentle expectancy, as if all of Kyoto is listening for whispered secrets, romance and tradition, twist together under a canopy of petals. In these streets, paper lanterns sway like silent prayers, their warm light reflecting off streams and illuminating the faces of passers-by. Kyoto's evenings are perfumed delicately by the petals that descend, silent as snow. Beneath each tree, conversations drift softly, punctuated by laughter that feels too gentle to disturb the tranquility. The city is alive with anticipation, its people quietly hopeful, each evening holding new promise as dusk gently gives way to night. At the heart of Kyoto's nightly rhythm, a subtle magic settles over the streets. The air, heavy with the sweetness of cherry blossoms, carries more than fragrance. It bears the weight of longing. Lovers pass beneath gilded lanterns, exchanging silent glances, fingers barely brushing as they move through shadow. Every gesture, each shy smile or shared secret becomes poetry under the ever-watching moon, as though the city itself conspired to guard these quiet moments of connection. The river beside Maruyama Park glistens under delicate bridges. Cherry petals float along the surface, silken rafts drifting between lantern-lit banks. Here, lovers have long found sanctuary to share stolen moments. A haiku whispered beside the soft rush of water, a lantern set adrift with wishes inked in elegant script. Each ritual imbues the air with reverence, as if time itself has slowed to honor these unfolding stories. The city's pulse slows as twilight deepens. Old songs slit quietly from tea-house doors, blending with the distant echo of a bamboo flute. On tatami floors, families gather for warm bowls of rice, but young hearts find reason to linger beneath blossoming trees. The night shields their secrets as words become unnecessary. The language of glances, gestures, and the flutter of a sleeve speaks louder than any proclamation, weaving silent threads of affection throughout Kyoto's winding paths. Many young women and men prepare small pieces of parchment at home, the paper delicate, waiting to be adorned with words. With careful brushstrokes, they compose secret poem haiku and tanka lines that hold what cannot be spoken aloud. Longing, admiration, a gentle ache woven into syllables. These poems are then folded, hidden inside lanterns, or slit discreetly into sleeves. The tradition, both daring and tender, turns the city into a living anthology of unspoken feelings. Sometimes, a lantern will be left in the crook of a favorite cherry tree, its sides painted with soft seams, mountain silhouettes, flowing rivers, or delicate blossoms. When dusk falls, lovers quietly retrieve these glowing messengers, decoding the brushwork or unfolding tiny poems within. There is a reverence in the ritual, an understanding that words spoken by candlelight may carry further than any spoken aloud. Each message, fragile and fleeting, is treasure in the spring air. In the hush of a Kyoto evening, the rituals of romance are woven carefully against a tapestry of tradition. Elders recall the customs of their own youth, offering soft advice and amused glances. But for the young, each lantern or folded paper represents possibility hope. Pressed tightly between syllables, dreams carried on the rivers, gentle current, the quiet longing of the city is palpable, wrapped around hearts like the scent of blossoms and the warmth of firelight. Let us imagine a young poet preparing for the spring festival. His hands tremble with anticipation, ink pooling in his brush as he selects the perfect linear promise of devotion. Hidden from prying eyes, he slips the folded message into a lantern lined with careful strokes of cherry pink. Later, he will carry it to the riverside, hoping that the one he loves will find it beneath the canopy of petals or drifting along the moonlit water's edge. Not far away, a young woman sits in the quiet corner of her home, candlelight flickering over her parchment. She too writes, finding words for a longing kept close for seasons past. Her poem admires strength and gentleness from afar, a tribute set down in ink rather than words spoken face to face. Later, as the lanterns glow brighter outside her window, she gathers courage, preparing to send her thoughts out into the waiting night, entrusting them to tradition's gentle hands. For both the poet and the maiden, tradition offers both shield and opportunity. Theirs is a dance of patience and subtlety, where desire expresses itself through careful ritual. The language of poetry weaves what is left unsaid, granting permission to hope, to reveal, without ever breaking the quiet dignity expected by society. Every gesture and every syllable becomes an invitation to meet, to wonder, to fall silently in love beneath the ever-blooming cherry trees. Outside, the blossoming branches create a natural roof over couples who stroll quietly or sit together, exchanging promises without a word. As lanterns flicker above and the breeze stirs loose petals, the world feels momentarily suspended a scene, painted in gentle strokes of watercolor, caught between memory and possibility. Kyoto's evenings invite introspection, each gentle ritual echoing in the heart, guiding new stories to join the ancient ones carried softly by the passing wind. In these moments, the city's stories gather layered like petals, unfolding slowly as spring deepens, tales of unspoken affection, of messages found and hearts quietly emboldened, linger in the lantern light, and the soft shadows beneath the trees. The hush, punctuated by the gentle rustle of silk and the ephemeral laughter of passing friends, becomes a kind of musicone that soothes, invites, and assures all who walk here that their own longing has been witnessed, understood, cherished. Many find solace in the ritual of seeking a lantern's glow among the tree shopping for a poem meant for them, or perhaps simply basking in the collective warmth, shared hope, and gentle anticipation. Whether longing is answered or not, the act itself nourishes a quiet confidence, a belief in love's quiet unfolding. For in Kyoto, beneath the shower of blossoms, every heart is given space to dream, to yearn, and to send gentle wishes fluttering into the night. As night settles, an orchestra of frogs and nightingales fills the air, blending with the low hum of distant laughter and the creak of wooden bridge planks. Lanterns float slowly, their light mirrored in tranquil waters, each one a silent carrier of hope or a wish whispered softly into the spring breeze. Beneath the trees, couples linger as long as they dare, hearts leaping each time. A lantern's drifting shadow brushes softly by. The festival stretches deep into the night, as families and friends gather to honor the promise of new beginnings. Old stories are retold, laughter mingling with the gentle sigh of the river. For some, the evening brings answer. Poem found, a feeling reciprocated. For others, longing remains a gentle ache, softened by the knowledge that hope has been entrusted to the tradition's capable hands, left to drift onward with the passing current and petals. Within this world of ritual and quiet yearning, bonds are forged in silence as much as in spoken word. Lanterns returned the next day are opened carefully, their messages cherished or memorized. A word of gratitude slips into the night when paths cross, cementing a connection without need for grand declarations. In Edo-period Kyoto, the slow formation of love reflects the steady transformation of spring itself, blossoms unfurling one by one, patient and inevitable. By midnight, the streets repair to silence. Only the faintest glow of lanterns remains, suspended above quiet paths. Lovers return home, their hearts full of the night's meanings, whether hopeful, comforted, or quietly pensive. The memory of cherry blossoms drifts into dreams, perfuming each sleeping mind with gentle hope. In the hush that follows joy and anticipation, Kyoto reminds its people that love is most enduring when given room to grow slowly, in shadow and in light. Through centuries, these spring nights in Kyoto linger in memory. The city's fabric is threaded with stories both anonymous and renowned, each shaped by the rituals of lanterns, blossoms, and poetry. To walk here, even in imagination, is to feel the assurance of 1,000 gentle hopes, patiently born on the evening air. And so, as you listen, let gratitude and yearning settle side by side, just as they always have along these soft, petal-strewn streets. Perhaps you, too, hold unspoken word-shapes or tender phrases tucked quietly away. Imagine sending them out on a gentle breeze, folded into a lantern or hidden within a cherry blossom's petal. The traditions of old Kyoto invite everyone to become a secret poet, a gentle dreamer, weaving their own longings into the silent symphony of the night. In every generation and every heart, these rituals continue, easing the passage from longing to comfort, from solitude to connection. As our journey through the moonlit streets of Edo-period Kyoto draws to a close, let the gentle images linger: a drifting lantern, a poem's quiet honesty, shadows moving delicately beneath flowering trees. Every story of longing and connection, both ancient and new, shines with its own quiet light. Take a final, restful breath. Allow the peace of tradition, love, and soft cherry blossoms to soothe you. Tomorrow there will be more stories, more hope, more gentle beginnings. Thank you for joining us on Hearts and History. May the tenderness of Kyoto's old lanterns and cherry blossoms accompany you as you drift toward peace and sleep. If this episode brought calm or inspiration, consider sharing it with someone close, or leaving us your gentle thoughts. In every story, you are part of a tradition of longing, kindness, and connection. Until next time, may your dreams be filled with petals and the promise of love's enduring light. In the hush of Kyoto's dusk, delicate haiku flutter on the breeze, short lines carrying a world of feeling, spoken softly or scribbled in secrecy. For lovers in Edo-period Japan, poetry is both armor and invitation, a way to bare their hearts while sheltering them within gentle words. Let us walk together beside lantern-lit pathways, listening for syllables drifting through the night air, where longing finds quiet shape in the cadence of a poem. Haiku, just 17 syllables, yet capable of holding deepest emotion. Each poem begins with a simple observation: cherry petals caught in the wind, the hush between footsteps in the garden, a moon reflected in water. These images speak of longing and hope, of gentle admiration whispered across distance. In this sheltered world, words are treasures, folded with care and kept close, their meaning revealed only to those attuned to the subtleties of the heart. When a lover composes a haiku, each syllable is chosen with intention. The paper is thin as a breath, the ink dark as the night sky. Before the poem is given away, it is folded into a tiny slip, sometimes hidden within the sleeve of a kimono, sometimes slipped between the pages of a borrowed book. The anticipation in these small rituals is a love letter of its own, a testimony whispered by wind and light. Imagine a lantern, paper glowing softly, drifting on the river. Inside, a single haiku waits, words illuminated by warm candlelight. The river's gentle current becomes a messenger, carrying secrets from one heart to another. Sentiments too delicate to voice aloud find refuge in these verses, released to the night in hope that, somewhere upstream or down, the right person will receive them and understand the message written in the hush of syllables. Cherry blossoms fall like silent applause, their scent mingling with the pale smoke of candles. Lovers wait in shaded alcoves or quiet corners, listening for footsteps, watching for the telltale flicker of a lantern, or the subtle reveal of folded paper. Whether exchanged directly or left to chance encounters, haiku transcend the limits of ordinary speech, granting permission to feel deeply in a time when feelings were seldom spoken aloud. The act of composing haiku is itself a meditation. Each syllable considered, each pause purposeful. In crafting these verses, lovers find clarity, distilling complicated feelings into images as fleeting and beautiful as spring itself. A falling petal, a distant bell, a shared glance beneath lantern light. The compressed form invites the writer to trust that what is left unsaid carries as much weight as the words inked so carefully onto paper. There were rules to this poetic exchange, but also secret codes references only understood by the beloved. A particular season word, perhaps, or a reference to a memory shared by moonlight. To the uninitiated, the haiku might seem simple or obscure. Yet, for those within the circle of affection, each poem unfurled layers of meaning, like silk unrolling from a hidden spool. Every reading becomes a revelation, a puzzle meant to be solved with the heart. Sometimes, a haiku was shared not with words, but with touch. Slipped quietly into the palm during a brief meeting, or pressed gently into a sleeve, it became a secret warmth carried throughout the day. The receiver, feeling the paper against their skin, might wait to read until later, savouring the anticipation. The ritual transformed the ordinary moment into something sacred, where love and poetry echoed quietly in the spaces between. The sharing of haiku was not reserved only for grand romances. Friends, families, even rivals used the poetic form to communicate across distance, to mend misunderstandings, or to express gratitude. Yet, in the hush of Kyoto's lantern-lit nights, it was the lover's haiku that seemed to shine brightest, fragile but enduring, written between heartbeats and left for the wind to carry, their message adrift but never lost. Within each haiku there was an unspoken promise or hope that feelings, once set free, would be cherished. The poem's journey was part of its beauty, whether carried by hand or by river, or discovered by chance in a pocket or sleeve. In a world of few words, the smallest gesture could hold the greatest meaning. And so, each slip of paper became a ripple, expanding gently across the stillness, reaching out to find a kindred soul, reaching out to find a kindred soul. As night deepens and the city quiets, the exchange of haiku feels like a shared dream. Somewhere, two lovers walk opposite sides of the same moonlit street, each carrying a poem meant for the other. They pass, perhaps only a glance exchanged, and in that brief moment, poetry bridges the distance between. The haiku waits, safe in its folded cocoon, until the time feels right to reveal its secret, and the heart dares to answer back. In these stories, the wind itself plays the part of a faithful messenger. It threads through branches, stirs paper lanterns, and carries with it the hope of connection. Even if a message drifts away or is lost, the act of sending remains an offering to the night, and to the possibility that someone, somewhere, might find the words and feel seen. Love, in haiku, is always both a question and a reply, a call and a gentle echo. Time feels soft in these evenings, measured gently by the soft flicker of candles and the brush of paper. There is no rush in how these poems are given or received. Seasons guide the mood: spring with its wistful longing, autumn with its quiet gratitude, even winter, where warmth is found in carefully chosen lines. Each haiku, though brief, stretches across time, knitting together solitary moments into a tapestry of memory and hope. For those who wrote these poems, inspiration came from everyday sights: a bird calling at dawn, the sudden hush after laughter, the way shadows stretch at sunset. Nature became the language of the heart, offering metaphors and solace when words alone might falter. To inscribe a haiku was to bear witness to a fleeting moment, to hold it close as a reminder that beauty and feeling are always within reach, just waiting to be noticed. Often, the most cherished haiku were those discovered by surprise. Unearthed from the cuff of a sleeve or slipped between layers of fabric, these poems arrived as gifts without expectation. Their presence was a gentle reminder that love, even when hidden, persists quietly, shaping the world with every small kindness. In these moments, the everyday became extraordinarier. Shared silence, a poem found in a pocket, a heart buoyed by simple words and quiet understanding. Across Kyoto, the custom of exchanging poetry lent an air of anticipation to ordinary life. A stroll by the river at dusk, a gathering beneath blossoming trees, a private glance exchanged beneath festival lanterns became stages for the sharing of feeling. Sometimes, the greatest expression was not the poem itself, but the courage it took to write and reveal it, trusting that another heart might read and gently respond. There were moments when a poem changed the course of two lives. A haiku, delicately worded, could ask for forgiveness, signal affection, or say farewell when leaving words proved too heavy. Such poems lived long after they were written, repeated quietly in the mind, held close during times of uncertainty. Each syllable, shaped by longing, offered comfort across silence, reminding listener and writer alike that every feeling has a language, even if softly spoken. Haiku often took on the moods of the seasons, filled with cherry blossom wonder in spring, touched with golden melancholy in autumn. A single image, such as the trembling reflection of the moon in water, could capture 1,000 unspoken emotions. These verses, layered with symbolism and care, became touchstones for those who read them, drawing forth memories, dreams, and gently whispered hopes long after the lantern's light had faded from the riverbank. Sometimes, a haiku was never meant to be read by anyone else. Written for the composer alone, it became an act of reflection, inked thoughts folded carefully, kept inside a book or beneath a pillow. These private poems held the quiet ache of unspoken longing, the bittersweet relief of confession to the page. Even if never given away, their writing was an act of love, nurturing the heart in times of solitude as well as in moments of connection. The process of folding the paper itself was a ritual, edges pressed between fingertips, creases made with gentle precision. Each fold was a silent promise, a preparation for letting go. Often, the paper used was scented or decorated with softly painted flowers, hinting at the importance of the message contained within. By the time the poem left the composer's hand, it had been touched by patience, hope, and the intention to share something precious and true. Haiku given during festivals carried an extra layer of magic. Lanterns shaped like birds or boats would drift on rivers, each one a vessel for wishes, longing, or gratitude. Sometimes, festival goers might tie poems to trees, letting them flutter in the evening breeze as offerings to the divine or expressions of hope. In these shared acts of creativity, love was honoured as both solitary and communal, mystery best explored together, hand in hand beneath the stars. The anticipation of finding a poem was almost as much a treasure as the words themselves. A sense of wonder awakened, wondering who had written it and for whom. Those who discovered a slip of haiku tucked in a lantern or beneath a teacup often felt a rush of gratitude, followed by a soft resolve to answer. In this dance of written verses, love became a conversation across silence, a weaving together of hope and understanding. Even as generations passed and customs changed, the spirit of haiku continued to inspire. Modern lovers might send messages by phone or letter, but the longing to express feeling tenderly, honestly, remains unchanged. The haiku reminds us that even fleeting moments can hold profound truths, that life's beauty is found not in sweeping declarations, but in small, mindful acts of giving. A poem, a glance, a wordless wish carried on the evening wind. So let us pause beneath the lanterns, feeling the hush and wonder of Kyoto's night. Remember, a haiku, though small, can carry the weight of a heart's deepest hopes. As petals fall and the wind stirs, perhaps you too might find a moment to inscribe a secret feeling, fold it gently and send it out into the world, trusting that where there is longing, somewhere, there will always be someone listening in the quiet. Lanterns flicker in the tender hush of evening, their glow casting gentle halos across moonlit gardens in old Kyoto. In this chapter, we wander quietly among those lanterns, each one holding centuries of hope and longing, their light touched hearts separated by distance. drawing lovers together through silken shadows and soft spring petals. Let us begin the journey of a single lantern, softly illuminating the secret message it carries for the one who waits. As dusk slips gently over Kyoto, lanterns awaken along silent walkways and winding garden paths. They are more than mere vessels of light. They are silent witnesses to the longing that blooms beneath cherry trees. Lovers, separated by walls and watchful eyes, entrusted these lanterns with their whispered verses, casting dreams into the night, where the flicker became a silent vow. To send a lantern was to send a heart, floating steady despite the distance. Within the delicate paper folds, a haiku rests, ink drawn by trembling hands, lines filled with hope and yearning. The lantern's glow shields the verse from curious onlookers, holding secrets safe in gentle light, each syllable chosen with care, each word a soft reminder of a bond unbroken by time or absence. Even the lantern's journey tonight is part of the poetry, both beacon and messenger, shifting quietly on the evening breeze. The message begins its journey at the edge of a secluded veranda. A young lover steadies trembling fingers, breathing in the scent of rain and petals. A gentle flame is coaxed to life within the lantern, its warmth growing as dusk settles. Silently, the lantern is released, carried by practiced hands to the waiting stream. Anticipation fills the space between heartbeat and lantern's first drifting step toward the distant shore, where longing waits in quiet hope. Gliding on the water's dark mirror, the lantern's soft glow mingles with reflections of blossom and sky. Petals gather around its drifting base, two worlds. The living garden and the lantern's inner dream blending as the vessel travels toward its destiny. Ripples of light shimmer outward, touching reeds, stones, and forgotten footpaths. In this suspended moment, it seems even time itself slows, bearing witness to a wish cast into the night's gentle embrace. In every lantern, colour and symbol carry layers of meaning. A crimson brushstroke for passion, a pale gold for steadfast devotion. Images of cranes and plum blossoms hint at promises and quiet endurance. To the eyes of strangers, the lantern is merely lovely. To those who know, it is a chapter of a silent romance unfolding in plain sight. Floating onward, the lantern becomes a moving letter, each shade and brush mark telling its own story of longing. Gardens in Kyoto are attuned to the ritual, bridges arched to guide the flow, banks cleared for gathering hopeful watchers. Families and friends silently root for reunions, their hearts softened by memories of old courtships. The air is fragrant with the possibility of connection, every lantern carrying not only one message, but echoes of countless others. It is as if the whole city leans gently toward the river, waiting for the night's promises to reach their shore. Sometimes, a passing wind teases the lantern's flame. Will it hold, or will hope falter before reaching its destination? Such uncertainty is woven into every love story. Candles must be tended carefully, and messages composed with patience and grace. When a lantern dims and falls, it is not a loss, but a vow. Renewed, another lantern will be crafted, another message set adrift beneath the blossom-laden sky. Love, like light, finds its way again. Tonight, the lantern glides steadily, never losing direction. Somewhere along the water's edge, shadows wait a recipient, heart beating in anticipation, eyes searching for the promised glow. Months may have passed since the last message, yet hope remains unwavering. It is a quiet vigil, marked not by fanfare, but by the gentle hush of expectation. The moment the light appears, two souls recognize the bridge built by longing and the language of lanterns. As the lantern drifts closer, petals pressed to its delicate shell become visible beneath the soft glow. A secret code, a certain flower for remembrance, a particular hue for faithfulness. The recipient kneels on the grass, hands trembling with a mix of joy and awe. Opening the delicate paper, the hidden poem unfurls short, rhythmic, carefully chosen. Each word echoes across the quiet water, an answer to longing, a response to silence, a gentle affirmation that the heart endures. In that twilight exchange, words become more than ink drawn on paper. They are promises revived, hopes kindled by the smallest hint of light, by evening's grace. In the soft passage of lanterns across the water, love's ritual continues unbroken. The message read, the heart responds, perhaps with a silent tear or a whispered dream carried back on the spring breeze. The lantern's journey completes a circle of trust, made gentle by patience and faith. Some lanterns travel farther than others, their flames bravely facing the drift and darkness. Not all meet their intended destination. Yet even in their journey, a beauty remains. The community honours their passage, gathering each spring to send their own lanterns into the gentle current. Each light a tribute to new beginnings, to cherished memories, to waiting hearts across the ages. In this annual ritual, longing finds a voice and hope is rekindled beneath the cherry trees. Lanterns are more than individual gestures. They become constellations when released together. The river transforms into a sky of flickering stars, each light a mark of love, loss, or longing. For a moment, every watcher, every participant, is woven into a tapestry of shared wishes, where separateness melts away under the lanterns. Collective glow, night deepens around the river. But among the gathered, there is only gentle brightness, soft reassurance, humming quietly just above the waterline. Behind each lantern, stories linger like the scent of blossoms after rain. Some tales are ancient lovers separated by circumstances, promising reunion in the quiet language of light. Others belong to today, woven from messages penned in careful script, hidden beneath the fragile frame. This ritual bridges past and present, old longing and new hope, binding each generation to the silent courage of sending one's heart into the unknown, trusting it will find welcome at dusk's gentle threshold. To create a lantern is to offer a part of oneself to the twilight. Every crease in the paper, every gentle brushstroke speaks of intention and desire. The act is meditative, a moment of presence in which the maker holds their hopes tenderly. When the final knot is tied and the flame coaxed to life, a quiet promise is born. Vow to persist, to listen across distance, to trust the journey no matter how winding the stream or uncertain the night. Over time, the tradition has gathered layers of poetry and possibility. Lantern festivals bring families together, laughter echoing through dusk, and children releasing their own hopeful messages onto the water. There are tales of lanterns returning, found days later still glowing faintly, their poems untouched by rain. Stories like these feed the belief in the lanterns. Quiet magic, the sense that love and longing, once set afloat, can travel much farther than we imagine, always seeking home. Even now, in the quieter corners of Kyoto, you might glimpse a single lantern drifting at dusk, carrying the legacy of countless secret exchanges. The world, for a moment, hushes itself to watch. Behind the spectacle is a private actor message carried gently on water's skin, a wish for reunion, or perhaps for forgiveness. It is a gentle reminder that even in separation, hearts remain connected by unseen threads, illuminated softly by hope's pale flame. In the gardens, as lanterns pass beneath willow branches, shadows flicker and dance on ancient stones. Each movement echoes the rhythm of longing and return, the timeless choreography of those who wait and those who hope. Elders share stories of their own lanterns with grandchildren, weaving memory and tradition into lullabies carried by the scent of spring. So, as lanterns make their way home or vanish beneath the river's curve, their stories linger long after the light fades. Let us linger with our lantern a little longer, imagining the world as seen through its gentle light. Each ripple, each silent bend in the river, holds a secret wish, a memory pressed between petals and parchment. The lantern does not rush, it drifts, allowing possibility to unfold in the soft hush of evening. Its glow comforts not just those who wait at the water's edge, but anyone who has ever sent a hope into the night, uncertain but undaunted. The tradition of lantern-lit courtship is not bound by time. It still resonates with anyone who has waited for a letter, a sign, or a moment of connection. The lantern's journey across the river becomes a metaphor for every fragile hope braving distance. In the quiet act of sending light, there is a lesson in patience, trust, and the beauty of small gestures. Even now, a single flicker can carry the weight of love across silent waters. Undiminished. Before our lantern's journey ends, let us pause in gratitude for the rituals that hold space for longing and reunion. For every message that finds its mark, there are countless silent prayers cast into the night. These gestures, though humble, shape the story we tell. Of love one carried not by grand declarations, but by steady, persistent sparks. The lantern's journey is the heart's journey too. Quiet, unwavering, and always searching for a gentle shore upon which to rest. As dawn approaches, the lantern's glow fades, blending softly with the first blush of morning. The message has travelled as far as hope can carry it. Whether it finds a waiting hand or drifts alone into memory, its purpose is fulfilled. To comfort, to bridge, to remind two hearts that they are not alone in longing. As the river carries the last shimmering lights away, a peaceful hush settles, and the world feels just a bit more tender. Stories of lanterns linger in the mind long after their light is gone. In every quiet moment, we can recall the gentle bravery of offering our secret hopes to the world. The ritual endures, not just as history, but as living encouragement and invitation to send our own messages, in whatever form feels true, trusting that somewhere, someone is quietly listening. So let your heart carry the glow of old Kyoto, and let its lanterns softly guide your dreams tonight. Thank you for drifting with us through Lanterns of Longing. May these stories soothe your spirit and inspire gentle remembrance. As you settle into sleep or quiet reflection, hold close the image of lanterns drifting, petals surrounding them, hopes buoyed by gentle currents. If these stories brought you comfort, please consider sharing this channel with others who cherish calm, history, and the quiet beauty of enduring love. Until next time, let your own light shine softly. In the gentle twilight of Kyoto, there existed a world of subtleties, where love's longing danced quietly beneath closed fans and fluttering silk. Lovers who could not speak freely found solace in symbols, each gesture a line of poetry. This chapter unravels the delicate art of hidden messages, of secrets woven through the soft language of everyday objects. Come, listen as we journey deeper into the clandestine language of longing, where every movement holds a secret. Fans became gentle messengers, concealing words within careful flicks and knowing glances. A flutter of silk across the face spoke of affection too dangerous to utter aloud. Each movement was rehearsed, each pause waited with hope. It was a world where a fan closed just so could mean "wait for me," or a sleeve held high whispered "remember." These small signals stitched a tapestry of trust. Lovers grew patient, learning to read each silent verse. Under the cherry blossoms, lanterns glowed softly at dusk. Love letters flickered within their paper walls. Messages unfolded inside, hidden among brushstrokes of poetry and metaphor. Sometimes, a simple haiku floated along a river, the meaning known only to its intended heart. The act was both bold and invisible. Lanterns drifting into darkness carried feelings too precious to be risked in daylight. The poets of longing trusted the night, and their secret flames, to carry their hopes. In a world defined by restraint, emotion wove through fabric and light. Silken handkerchiefs embroidered with cherished motifs became tokens exchanged between lovers. A single cherry blossom hidden inside a sleeve could say what words never dared admit. Beneath strict social customs, these objects became bridges between hearts. The giving and receiving of such gifts was a whispered promise, a silent understanding that only two souls both vigilant and vulnerable could fully understand and cherish. Metaphor formed the lifeblood of secret romance. Lovers learned to cloak feelings within poetic verse, an invitation to a moon. Viewing became so much more, each word carefully chosen to mask desire beneath elegance. An entire conversation could pass in a glance or be hidden in the ink of a folded note. Poetry softened the boundaries of propriety, creating a private space where hearts could meet. Longing was dressed in beauty, careful and precise. Those who learned to read such codes joined an unspoken fellowship. It was a world where every sigh, every delay in footstep became a message. A sleeve brushed against another's robe spoke of possibilities and regrets. Patience and presence were the only true guides. Sometimes, a love prevented by circumstance could find release in a single shared symbol. Lantern passed quietly as dusk deepened. In silence and secrecy, lovers consoled one another with artful gestures. A folded fan, painted with distant mountains, held layers of meaning. The pattern of opening and closing might echo the rhythm of a heartbeat. Subtle signals were learned and mastered over many seasons. Each gesture was a stanza, each movement a poem of its own. Even the softest rustle of fabric could be confirmation or warning. In this delicate choreography, lovers hid both their longing and their resolve. The smallest detail might contain a world of hope, if only you could see it. The risks were constant. Society's watchful gaze caught every motion, weighed each word. Yet within this constraint, creativity flourished. Silk threads, woven into sleeves, created secret pockets for notes and petals. A poem written in invisible ink appeared only under the gentle warmth of candlelight. The ingenuity of hearts in love transformed daily life into a grand tapestry of code and response. Each solution bore its own quiet thrill, a shared sense of daring beneath composure. Night gave permission for dreams to drift freely. Lovers took comfort in the moon's pale glow, believing it shielded their messages as they passed from hand to hand. Lanterns painted with subtle brush designs were sometimes released into nearby rivers, their path watched with hope and trembling. The river became a carrier, delivering missives in silence. To receive such a lantern was to be seen, to know you were held gently in another's thoughts, even if only for a moment. Even the language of flowers was pressed into service. A single petal, chosen with care, sent wrapped inside a fan or tucked within a calligraphy scroll, became a statement of devotion or apology. Cherry blossoms, their beauty so fleeting, symbolized not just love but the preciousness of each shared moment. The brevity of their bloom reminded lovers of the impermanence of longing. In every exchange, hope was mixed with wistfulness, each ritual a defense against distance and silence. In this hidden world, time seemed to slow. The simple act of waiting became its own language. Each day an unwritten letter. Lovers relied on memory, recalling past gestures and anticipating the next coded message. Absence itself became heavy with meaning, an unspoken question alive in the air. When a fan was not fluttered, or a lantern not lit, hearts noticed absence could ache louder than any word. This art of absence shaped the rhythm of romantic lives. Elders, too, understood the language of hidden messages. Old stories and poetic forms were passed quietly from generation to generation. Young lovers learned to honor tradition while inventing their own variations. A childhood lullaby might one day become a courting song, its lyrics laced with new meaning. The wisdom of restraint, patience, and subtlety guided hearts through uncertainty. Across years and centuries, these secret codes lingered, evolving but never disappearing from the inner world of romance. Lantern festivals offered rare moments of open secret. Lovers mingled among crowds, their coded glances sheltered by celebration. Sending a lantern afloat became ritual. It might bear a wish, a poem, or a confession folded delicately within the frame. As lanterns rose into the night, each flicker became a tiny hope carried skyward. All around, joy and longing mingled. The festival's beauty disguised hundreds of private stories woven delicately into the public spectacle of light. Sometimes, messages were disguised as ordinary tasks. A borrowed book returned with a pressed flower, or plum blossom inked in the margin, spoke volumes. Laundry hung in a certain way, or a stack of handkerchiefs arranged just so, could say, "I am thinking of you." Daily life became layered with meaning, each small routine touched with imagination. Beneath the gaze of indifferent eyes, lovers transformed the mundane into the miraculous testament to longing too strong to be hidden entirely. The art of hidden messages required trust. Every coded signal was a leap of faith, hoping for understanding and safe reciprocation. Sometimes misunderstandings led to anxious dasa, misunderstood fanflick, a missing lantern on the river. Yet, through cautious persistence, bonds deepened. The beauty of this secret language lay in mutual devotion, in the careful work of tending and deciphering meaning where there was risk. Those who practiced it became patient readers of the heart's most subtle calligraphy. Rainy evenings brought fresh opportunities for lovers to send messages. A shared umbrella, offered discreetly as showers began, could mean, "I am here for you." The way someone brushed a droplet from a sleeve might say, "Remember me." Lovers became attuned to every detail of their exchanges. Even footsteps echoing in the puddles might become a private song. The weather itself took on new meaning, offering rituals of care when words were not permitted or possible. The poetry of hidden messages often grew richer as time passed. Repeated rituals, private metaphors whispered in the dark, transformed longing into memory. Objects fans, lanterns, petals cherished and kept for years, became small relics of hope. Sometimes, a tattered silk sleeve or faded poem, discovered decades later, could reignite memory and bring comfort to lonely hearts. These tokens were not only messages, they were invitations to keep loving, quietly and with courage, across the shifting seasons of life. Not all hidden messages were meant for romantic love alone. Friends, siblings, and families crafted their own quiet exchange asa. Pressed leaf, a gentle bow, an everyday kindness wrapped in ritual. The culture of coded language shaped all relationships, teaching empathy and attentiveness. It reminded people to listen for what was left unsaid, to honour the depth beneath politeness. Thus, the art of subtlety became a part of daily living, nurturing gentleness and care throughout the community. In quiet gardens at dusk, the artistry of hidden messages reached its peak. Wind brushed against paper lanterns, setting them softly swaying. The world slowed, and in the hush that followed, everything became readable. Every fold of silk, a syllable in the great, ongoing poem of the heart. For those who watched and waited, meaning glimmered in every corner, promising solace for even the quietest longing. The garden became a living letter, composed each night anew. The patience required for these rituals created a special kind of loved one that prized carefulness and intention. Nothing was rushed, every gesture pondered. Lovers learned that true intimacy was built not just on grand declarations, but on silence filled with meaning. This art taught resilience, showing how hearts could endure distance and delay, finding comfort in the slow, steady rhythm of secret exchange. In every pause there was faith, in each small message abundant grace. With time, certain phrases, gestures, and objects took on culturally shared meanings. A fan decorated with spring cranes might speak of hope for reunion. A lantern painted with falling leaves might quietly mourn a temporary parting. Though each message was personal, it was also woven into a wider tradition of poetic communication. This communal understanding gave lovers both safety and joy. To participate in the art of hidden messages was to join a living story, told and retold in countless variations. So much depended on the quiet integrity of those who guarded secrets. Trusted messengers, a friend, a sibling, sometimes even a sympathetic elder played their parts discreetly. A poem delivered through the hands of another, or a lantern passed between allies, might carry twice its ordinary weight. Solidarity among the silent created an invisible web, ensuring that love found its way even through labyrinths of challenge. Loyalty and tenderness thrived in these moments of collaboration and shared understanding. Today, we might marvel at the elegance of such secret exchanges. The world moves faster now, and messages rarely require fans or folded cloth. Yet, the longing to be understood, to send and receive words of comfort in uncertain times, persists. Modern romances find new ways to communicate beneath society's surface. Echoes of fans, silk, and lanterns remain, ever inspiring those who seek to express the inexpressible. From heart to heart, the language of longing lives on, gentle and indelible. Here, in the shadows of Kyoto's history, we remember the art of hidden messages not just as a relic, but as a living lesson. Patience, subtlety, and creative communication offer solace and connection. May these old, careful rituals inspire our own gentle gestures. May we all find ways, however small, to share our hearts beneath the petal-soft light of love and longing. For in every age, the quietest signals may echo the loudest, soothing hearts across both miles and centuries. Beneath a sky brushed with silver, tonight unravels a scene awash in moonlight. The garden lies hushed, every leaf shadowed in pale blue. Two lovers move through darkness so soft that even their footsteps seem to whisper. Each pause and hesitant glance becomes more vivid in the gentle radiance. Here, longing flourishes, carried on the cool midnight breeze. Listen, as secret rendezvous unfold beneath the boughs, where shadows mingle with hearts wide open. In this tranquil hour, the river glides quietly beside the lantern-lit path. Moonbeams dance atop its surface, reflecting flickers of hope and desire. Nearby, the soft murmur of water feels like a sigh inspired by distant memories. Tonight, the bridge is more than stone and wood. It is a silent witness to glances exchanged, to the careful dancing of words unspoken. Each moment drawn beneath the moon weaves longing and wonder together. Candlelight quivers gently inside the lanterns, illuminating soft hands held close. With every passing cloud, the garden deepens in mystery, veiling secrets beneath the willow's canopy. The two lovers lean in. Voices drop to a hush, so even the night birds will not betray their presence. Each syllable carries across the stillness, honey-sweet with meaning, lingering in the air long after spoken. The moon listens, patient, casting devotion in delicate silver. Whispers float beneath the boughs, threading through shadows that stretch and sway. The lovers craft haiku on parchment, folding wishes within. Careful as origami, this hidden poetry, exchanged hand to trembling hand, becomes a bond stronger than silence itself. The river, a mirror for both lantern light and longing, cradles these secrets on its surface. Each word, though quiet, ripples outward beneath the gentle embrace of the moon's gaze tonight. Soft petals drift in the air, falling like gentle punctuation marks on the lovers' whispered conversation. The wisdom of centuries lingers here, each tree a silent guardian over confessed hearts. Shadows deepen, yet the moon's glow lifts uncertainty from their faces, illuminating both shyness and hope. Time itself seems to slow, surrendering to the measured pace of breath and heartbeat. Within this suspended world, only honesty remains, spoken beneath branches and reflected in shimmering water. The scent of plum blossoms hangs faintly, memory and promise interlaced. Their conversation flows cautiously, words chosen like stepping stones across the river of emotion. Lanterns bob along the water, casting fleeting patterns on the banks, each glow echoing a secret dream, wrapped in the hush. Every gesture betrays yearning, a tentative touch, a drifting glance. Together, under the watchful moon, they dare to imagine a future carried gently by the current of night. As the night deepens, a soft wind stirs the willow branches above, adding a quiet percussion to their clandestine meeting. In these moments, every sound feels magnified. The rustle of silk, a stifled laugh, the pulse of anticipation between breaths. The garden seems boundless, limitless beneath the stars. But it is the moon that turns longing into poetry, illuminating secrets too fragile for sunlight, inviting dreams to drift where words and shadows entwine. From beneath the cherry blossoms, soft voices carry haiku written in hurried, hopeful script. The moonlight spills across their parchment, making every syllable glisten. With trembling hands, they share poems only the night will hear. Each stanza a confession, each line a wish. Laughter, almost silent, brightens the hush. Lanterns glow, flickers, echoing the delicate uncertainties that dwell in their hearts. In this sacred stillness it dwell in their hearts. In this sacred stillness even Siltons blooms into meaning. Around them, slender reeds bend in gentle harmony with the wind's song. The lovers listen to the river's murmur, each eddy a metaphor for the shifting tides of their connection. One pulls out a folded letter, its edges soft with handling. A secret kept close for so many nights. Reading it aloud, voice trembling just so. Their words gather weight beneath the moon's shelter. Every confession finds courage, inscribed in soft night tones. Lanterns cast their glow along the water's length, creating a trail of light that beckons hope forward. The lovers step softly, each movement an unspoken promise. Their shadows merge, dancing quietly beside the reeds, though the world around them remains silent. Their hearts beat out a steady, reassuring rhythm. Within the moonlit hush, hesitation gives way to gentle honesty, sharing dreams whispered beneath the ancient trees, carried by the river into tomorrow's dawn. Close by, a nightingale begins to sing, its melody delicate as spun silk. This song weaves between the lovers, adding music to their quiet exchange. The air grows cool, tinged with the scent of moss and distant rain. Yet the warmth from lantern light and shared gaze offsets the chill. Here, under ancient boughs and silver moon, two souls find courage in stillness, a rare tranquility, as if the world pauses to honor their gentle communion. They speak in fragments, each word carefully chosen. The silence between sentences is as significant as speech, heavy with the longing that grows between two people, afraid to hope too much. Every glance holds 1,000 thoughts unspoken. Moonlight reveals the blush on cheeks, eyes cast downward in shyness. Even the briefest touch, stolen and fleeting, carries intention. In this world, shaped by dusk and tender wishing, hope is born in the most fragile of moments. The river glimmers beneath the night's gaze, carrying lanterns and wishes downstream. Time here ebbs and flows differently, sometimes stretched, sometimes caught in a breathless instant. Memories are forged in shared silence, the touch of a hand, a word left lingering in the air. Though the world beyond the boughs feels distant, its pressures forgotten, the lover's universe narrows to moonlight, gentle petals, and the promise carried in each shared secret, At the edge of the garden, a bamboo grove rustles softly, framing this tableau of quiet yearning. The young lovers remember why they returned night after night, risking all for these brief encounters. Their haiku, scribed with trembling hearts, become talismans for the future. Above, the moon glows unwavering, its reflection stirring in the river below. Here, love is both what is said and what remains unspoken, shimmering in the hush between illuminated faces. A moment lingers when neither dares to speak. Only the chorus of distant frogs and the hush of leaves fill the night. Then, a gentle confession slips into the air, soft as the petals beside their feet. Acceptance glows quietly in exchanged glances, warming the space between them. For an instant, time feels forgiving, allowing them to savor the tenderness that grows brighter than any lantern or star. This is their chapter written in moonlit ink upon the water. The moon above has seen centuries of meetings like this hearts, tethered by hope, gentleness, and the rituals of night. Tonight, it sparkles in the waters, ripples, echoing the emotion it bears witness to. Every sigh, every giggle tucked shyly away, mingles with the scent of damp earth and new grass. In the distance, faint footsteps hint that others have shared these same pathways, guided by lantern light and longing through the ages. They pause, tracing patterns on the ground with fingers as if to draw strength from the earth itself. Shared stories drift quietly between them, some woven with laughter, others with the silent ache of separation. The lanterns overhead seem to listen just as closely as the night birds. Though words often falter, intention remains clearer, steady pulse of devotion. Shadows sway as a gentle breeze stirs memory and promise together, stretching the night toward its quiet conclusion. Along the water, two lanterns join side by side, their reflections dancing in perfect harmony. In these moments, the present and past mingle, blurring boundaries between what was and what might yet be. Each shared poem becomes a small rebellion, a promise, whispered against the hush of custom and distance. In this moonlit haven, love asks simply to be seen, to be remembered after the last lantern dims and the boughs grow silent once more. A soft laugh rises between the lovers, gently scattering the weight of night and uncertainty. Cherry blossoms flutter overhead, catching in hair and sleeves, subtle tokens of this fleeting encounter. Their gazes linger, filled with gentle understanding rather than urgency. Beneath the moon, each moment stretches, an invitation to savor the sweetness of now, free from fear or judgment. The old stone bridge, silent as always, bears their secrets patiently beneath its arch. No words are needed as the final poem is offered, folded with intention, featherlight in the palm. Silence deepens, every sound softened by the embrace of distant hills and sleeping trees. In the hush, a breath shared feels secreta, single heartbeat magnified by longing. Lanterns glimmer gently, telling their stories across the water's shimmering skin. Separated soon by dawn's approach, they let love root itself quietly within the memories made under silver, light. Now the river grows calm, as if recognizing the loveliness of the moment. Reflections of lanterns scatter as new ripples pass. But the memories remain, side by side, their silhouettes blend with the gardens. Ancient wisdom, becoming part of a story told for centuries. Hearts content for now, warmed by courage found and words finally spoken. As moonlight softens behind the clouds, every secret shared becomes a blessing, offered to the night and guarded for seasons yet to come. The hush lingers until the first breeze hints at dawn's approach. The lovers prepare to part, holding the memory of moonlit glances close. With slow steps, they retrace the path, past willow and stone, letting hope guide them into the days. Uncertainty. Though the night will soon surrender to morning, what was spoken and felt in darkness glows on in their hearts. Lanterns dim, but the light they shared remains tender, unforgettable, and quietly eternal. As the world gently wakes, petals caught in silk and hair serve as delicate reminders. The lovers will carry these tokens, pressed between pages and memories. For seasons to follow, this night, though brief as a falling blossom, blooms again each time the river glimmers or the moon rises high. What began beneath boughs and lanterns endures, inscribed in their spirits and whispered through the winds. Soft hush, a promise held close, never truly dimmed by daylight's return. And so, we leave these moonlit reflections behind, lanterns waning over silent water, hearts still echo with secrets dared to blossom under the gentle watch of centuries. Old trees, the river flows onward, bearing away whispers and wonder alike. As the lovers disappear beneath the fading stars, their story lingers on, a quiet testament to hope, to poetry, and to longing serenaded by the hush of midnight. The memory of love written gently across Kyoto's night. Slip quietly into the gentle hush of a Kyoto evening. Here, behind the delicate embrace of paper walls, stories unfold in silence and shadow. The tatami rooms breathe, each woven mat holding trace memories of secret hopes. Night falls softly, inviting whispers that drift through gaps in the sliding shoji doors. Warm candlelight flickers, painting shadows on washi screens, and lovers pen haiku with trembling hands, balancing longing and vulnerability in every stroke. Within these rooms, the world seems smaller and softer. Each breath of the night carries meaning. Each gentle step across tatami echoes intention. Outside, the city dreams, but inside, the air is full of anticipation and unspoken confessions. Words are too precious to waste, so lovers choose haiku, careful poems that fit within the slender margin of hope. Shadows gather at the corners while light reveals the fragile beauty of secrecy. The sliding doors glide in near silence, their wooden frames gently meeting as they close, granting both privacy and possibility. Was it a sigh beyond the screen, or only the wind tracing the eaves? Softly, a folded slip of paper, a poem, perhaps appears beneath the edge of a door. Each haiku is a talisman, carrying emotions too large for louder voices, yet too cherished to remain unsaid. Night listens, patient and kind. One candle burns, its flame dancing along the serene lines of a washi screen. It casts delicate silhouettes where two figures kneel on tatami, waiting for the courage to reach out. Paper-thin walls do little to muffle heartbeats or the gentle scratching of a brush across rice paper. Every gesture feels amplified in the hush, every tiny smile quick to appear and vanish, every tiny smile quick to appear and vanish, ever reliant on chance and tender understanding. Sometimes, the exchange is wordless, a shadow, shaped like an offering, a hand lingering near a sliding door, sending silent signals of anticipation. The language of fans, the flutter of sleeves, the gentle rustle of silk become as eloquent as any poem. Candles cast patterns that move with each breath, and hope glimmers where two souls meet, divided by washi, united by intention. The world outside recedes, giving way to intimacy. Tonight, their poems cross the threshold between longing and fulfillment. A thin reed brush dips into ink, and syllables emerge, soft, spare, but full of promise. The chosen words might speak of moonlight, dew upon leaves, or the distant cry of a nightingale. Each line, neatly folded, is placed gently within reach, an offering, fragile yet bold in its quiet honesty. For both, vulnerability is woven alongside hope. The light within the room seems to pulse and breathe, echoing the uncertainty and excitement layered between paper walls. Candlelight soothes anxieties, its warmth a reminder that longing must sometimes be softened by gentleness. Shadows drift and mingle, occasionally merging, blurring the boundaries of solitude and connection. Every haiku exchanged is a step closer, a bridge delicately constructed between two hearts, traversed gently under the protection of night and tradition. In the stillness, the ear becomes keen. The smallest whisper a name spoken softly, a breath that falters grows rich with meaning. The lacquered tray that delivers the poem slides almost without sound, supporting anticipation with every pass. Each poem is met, not with applause, but with a silence heavy with response, longing acknowledged, cherished with every line. In the intimate universe of paper walls, their quiet story deepens word by word. The poet's craft thrives in these soft confines. Each syllable is weighed, each sentiment measured so it fits within the delicate structure of haiku 5, 7, 5, compact and profound. The brush trembles as it nears rice paper, translating feelings that cannot be spoken aloud. Hope and vulnerability drift together like wisteria blossoms caught in candle glow. Through this careful ritual, lovers create a language all their own, just for tonight, just for each other. Washi screens blur the world into watercolor shadows, soft laughter, the faint promise of dawn beyond the houses. The exchange of poems builds a tapestry of trust, each line fragile as the cherry blossoms falling just outside. Lantern light sways, marking the passage of time, while every heartbeat feels suspended in the waiting hush. For a while, no tomorrow intrudes. The moment is held, tenderly, by the strength of ritual and the patience of devotion. The lovers' faces rarely meet directly. Each glance is a promise, a confession spared for candlelight. Instead, they witness one another's presence reflected on translucent screens, shadows merging, soft and indistinct. It's in these fleeting glimpses, the silhouette of longing, that connection deepens. The night draws a gentle veil, allowing the soul's language to sound so much louder than words ever could. Through paper and shadow, their hearts reach courageously across the space. As midnight nears, silence thickens around the room. The city's noise fades, replaced by the rhythmic brush of sleeve against tatami. The ritual of exchanging poems becomes both shield and bridge, protecting their vulnerability while drawing them quietly together. Candlelight sinks lower, stretching shadows long. They dwell in the dimension between anticipation and memory, writing for each other, trusting the gentle gravity pulling them ever closer. Every poem is a wish held delicately for morning. Sometimes, a hesitant hand brushes the edge of a shoji panel, tempted to slide it open just enough for the briefest look, the soft assurance that the other is truly there. Between washi and whispered words, courage is offered gently, never demanded. As with the poetry they share, each movement is intentional, subtle, and magical. The silence holds 1,000 promises, 1,000 unsung confessions. Night's embrace makes every hope seem possible, every longing safe. Within these rooms, time slows and is softly rearranged by intention and desire. Lovers unburden themselves in 13 or 17 syllables, trusting that their meaning will survive the journey across tatami. Even as the candle flickers low, warmth lingers, an echo of closeness, an invitation to dream. The night is generous, stretching long enough to hold every secret, every line dead in ink. Tomorrow is distant, only this hush matters, thick with possibility. With dawn's approach, the first hints of blue begin to silver the edges of the paper screens. Their ritual nears its end, yet each poem exchanged tonight plants a quiet certainty, something tender and lasting. The room returns to itself, mats cool beneath them, silence settles once more. But between their hearts, something new endures, the memory of hope, the courage of vulnerability, and the hush of paper walls holding their story tight, safe until the next night's whispers. All around them, the house remains hushed, honouring the secrets gently folded in paper. Just beyond, gardens sleep under the faintest blush of dawn petals shuttered, lanterns flickering silently. Everything has been distilled, emotion, intention, courage, all pressed into slender syllables and airy gestures. The art of loving here is simple, yet infinitely complex, held together by ritual, imagination, and the brave power of sending your heart across a quiet room, wrapped in poetry. Some nights, rain scribbles at the eaves, echoing the brushstrokes of their poems. The scent of wet earth mingles with candle smoke, lending another dimension to the quiet ritual. Outside, a distant bell marks the passing of hours, but within the room, time feels suspended by each exchanged haiku. Every passing moment is bright with possibility. Will a heart be met with understanding, or with gentle silence? Hope endures where words are soft and shadows linger. There is a strength in this ritual of softness, a bravery in each gentle approach. Words chosen with care become offerings, held not for their grandeur, but for their honesty. Watching shadows flicker on washi, the lovers honour both vulnerability and patience, understanding that love, here, is an act of both courage and restraint. It is this careful balance that gives the night its rare sweetness, making each whisper seem sacred as the moon that quietly witnesses. Sometimes, a poem is tucked away, saved for another night anticipation, stretched sweet and thin. Other times, a line is revised again and again, a single brushstroke changed until it expresses the heart just so. The process itself is a kind of devotion, proof of care and presence. Behind the paper walls, no drama intrudes, only the gentle persistence of two spirits willing to try, night after patient night, to reach for one another. Shadows ripple softly at midnight's edge, their movements telling stories that the lips might hesitate to utter. In this quiet, the smallest kindness carries immense meaning, a refilled inkstone, a thoughtful folding of silk, the simple nearness of two people whispering through paper. Each act, each gesture, is a reassurance, a promise that, despite the barriers, closeness is possible. The moon hovers, curious, lending its light to moments too gentle for daylight. As the candle gutters and the room cools, there is a settling of wishes, of feelings, of secret poems kept close to the heart. The sliding doors close with a soft finality, cocooning what happened within, cradling every breath and written word. In the quiet aftermath, gratitude lingers, for the safety of paper walls, and for the chance to be seen even for a moment. Love, in this world, is crafted softly, but it is no less powerful. The ritual may end with the night, but its echo travels far. Along the corridors of memory, the verses exchanged will bloom anew on distant mornings, soft reminders of tenderness and bravery. Though daylight sweeps away shadows and pulls back the veil, what lingers is a sense of peace, a deeper understanding, and the knowledge that even a few shared syllables can change the shape of a heart's journey. The hush of paper walls endures. In time, the lovers will return, perhaps with new poems, perhaps only with silent longing. The house will welcome them with the same gentle quiet, the same flicker of candle and play of light on washi. The ritual calls for patience, for willingness to wait and try again, as the heart is never hurried. Each bridge of poetry they build becomes easier, more natural, a reflection of growing trust and the timeless hope of closeness beneath paper walls. Tonight, as you rest, imagine yourself within these gentle rooms. Let candlelight warm your thoughts and washi shadows shelter your dreams. Think of all the hopes and wishes quietly exchanged behind paper walls, the bravery found in every tender poem. May the peace of their ritual gather softly around you, soothing your heart, and may you, too, discover secret courage in the hush between words, where longing and belonging meet, sheltered and cherished through the night. The city of Kyoto shimmers beneath a canopy of lanterns, each glowing orb swaying with dreams and promises. Laughter drifts on the breeze as friends and lovers gather to welcome the festival of lights. The air is sweet with anticipation. Hearts quicken beneath petals and paper lanterns. In every corner, the past and present softly entwine, offering a gentle space for private hopes to mingle with the city's collective joy. Lantern makers move gracefully through the dusk, hands steady as they craft delicate vessels of light. On each rice paper shade, wishes are written in careful brushstrokes, kanji for luck, love, or longing. Couples sit shoulder to shoulder, whispering their desires into the quiet. As the lanterns ignite, their faces glow with both courage and hesitation. The moment of release inches closer, promising that secret wishes might one day be answered. The soft rhythm of taiko drums rises through the evening, a gentle pulse beneath laughter and hope. Children chase shadows between pools of coloured light, while elders recall the festivals of their youth. Everywhere, there's a sense of shared anticipation. The lanterns are not just decorations, but vessels for the unspoken. Some write their names, others choose only poetry or symbols, all seeking to send forth a thread, however slender, into the night. In the heart of Kyoto, by the banks of the Kamo River, couples gather quietly, lanterns in hand. The river becomes a mirror for dreams, reflecting both the lights above and the mysteries hidden below. With a careful motion, hands dip the lantern's base into the water, letting go. Floating gently, the wishes drift downstream, small beacons carrying silent messages to unseen shores of the heart. Among the crowd, a pair of young lovers pauses at a quiet threshold, fingers entwined and lips brushing poetry into the twilight. They choose a lantern together, writing a single shared hope unseen by others, before releasing it alongside hundreds more. Their voices are hushed, but their laughter sparkles, carried by the wind. This is the power of festivals, a bundle of private stories woven into one warm collective celebration. Older couples stroll hand in hand, smiles soft and nostalgic as lantern light dances across their faces. Perhaps their wishes are simpler. Now health, harmony, or the chance to walk one more year together beneath the blooming trees. Some recall beginnings at festivals just like this. First glances across a lantern's glow, whispered names beneath fireworks. The present moment shimmers with memories, past joys twining gently with tonight's happiness. Street vendors line the lantern-lit avenues, their voices a melodic hum, offering sweet rice cakes and steaming cups of tea. Every flavour lingers on the tongue, a memory in the making. People gather in small circles, sharing food and gentle stories, their wishes mingling with laughter. Even the simplest acts breaking bread, pouring tea become small rituals of care, illuminated by lantern glow. It's a night woven for the senses and for the spirit. A hush falls as the night deepens, and festival musicians take their place upon a makeshift stage. With measured grace, shamisen and koto notes thread softly through the air, inviting listeners to pause. Couples listen in silence, their bodies leaning closer beneath woven kimono and drifts of falling petals. Music lingers like promise each note, a brushstroke across velvet darkness, painting longing and hope with gentle hands. Beneath the vast tapestry of stars, some stand quietly at the water's edge, holding their lanterns just a moment longer. They look not outward, but inward, searching tender corners of the heart where ancient longings still tremble. For some, letting go is bittersweet. The wishes floating away carry secrets only the night will know. The ripples on the river echo the secret dialogue of lovers and dreamers through the centuries. Children's laughter rises above the low hum of conversation, their faces illuminated by soft orange lantern light. Small hands grip markers and paint, decorating their wishes with dragons, flowers, and shy hearts. For them, the act is pure magic. Releasing a lantern is to send a hope floating into the universe. Adults watch with gentle amusement, remembering their own childhood festivals, where the boundary between dream and reality seemed to dissolve for a single, wondrous evening. As the lanterns drift, their reflections scatter across the Kamos gentle current, hundreds of trembling twin lights stretching toward the horizon. A collective intake of breath ripples through the gathered crowd, and time feels suspended. In this shared release, personal stories intersect and become one river of hopes. The beauty lies not only in the spectacle, but in the courage of letting go and trusting fragile dreams to the night, without knowing what answers may return. Sometimes, wishes are written in languages known only to the heart, a favourite flower, a single tear drawn beside a lover's name, a whispered promise never meant to be spoken aloud. The festival endures as a place where such secrets are honoured, a gentle reminder that longing is not weakness, but the quiet pulse of hope. This is the soul of the city, quiet resilience woven through each lantern launched into the night. Older festival goers share the stories behind their favourite lantern tradition tales of old Kyoto, of auspicious symbols, and of times when wishes shaped the direction of lives. Children listen wide-eyed, learning not only about lantern making, but about love itself. How it can be hopeful or bittersweet, silent or spoken, enduring in the smallest actions. Generations gather in the glow, the wisdom of years mingling with dreams still waiting to bloom. The festivals. Magic is tangible in the scent of incense winding through the air, in the brush of silk sleeves, in the shared exchange of subdued smiles and meaningful glances. For some, tonight is a time to seek new beginnings. For others, it is a renewal of promises carried across many seasons. All around, the city's rhythm slows, as if the lanterns themselves invite a collective breath, a pause to remember what matters most. Beyond the crowds, in quiet courtyards blooming with azaleas and stone lanterns, some slip away to share a word or a secret. Here, amid the softer shadows, hearts speak with greater ease. A folded haiku, tucked into a sleeve, a warm hand lingering in another's. The festival reminds all who wander its glowing avenues that love is found not only in grand gestures, but gently, in the smallest moments carved from silence. Throughout the city, artists and poets gather to share their words beside pools of lantern light. Some recite ancient verses, others offer new lines penned in honour of this night. Listeners close their eyes, letting syllables settle like petals on water. Each poem becomes a lantern of its owner, brief, glowing carrier of longing and affection, drifting into the vastness. This quiet communion is a salve for restless hearts, nourishing as soft rain on old stones. Tonight, the city's temples cast open their gates, lanterns glowing softly within ancient courtyards. Visitors bow in reverence and slip offerings into the stillness of folded prayer. A flower's petal, a name whispered for luck. The temple bells toll softly above the hum of festival chatter, resonating as a gentle anchor through the evening. Here, tradition and hope blend seamlessly, echoing through both sacred spaces and the lively, lantern-lit streets beyond. For some, the festival marks an anniversary of meeting, of promises made, of journeys begun beneath these floating lights. Couples return year after year, walking familiar paths, their stories gently expanding with every celebration. Lanterns become milestones, silent witnesses to laughter and tears shared on previous nights like this. The ritual of return holds its own quiet magic, reminding them, and us, that love endures through the changing seasons of life and light. In a quiet moment, a young woman stands alone near the river's edge, clutching a lantern covered in tiny, careful script. She reads each word one last timer, private prayer for someone far away, or a wish for courage to speak her heart. With a deep breath, she releases the lantern, watching it join the others in their luminous journey. The act is both an ending and a beginnings. Softly she smiles, hope rekindled by candlelight. As the night deepens, so does the intimacy of the festival. Voices soften, and groups melt into smaller circles or pairs. Some find quiet benches beneath ancient plum trees, sharing secrets with only the lanterns as witnesses. The soft flicker of candlelight invites honesty, a gentle word, an unguarded laugh, a hand sought in the darkness. This fleeting golden hush carries wishes that will echo long after the lanterns disappear into the dawn. Ancient proverbs are murmured as the last lanterns slip away. Where there is light, there the heart remembers. Elders share these words with the young, inviting each listener to carry their own light through seasons of joy and longing. The proverb travels from lips to lantern, mingling with every hope released upon the water. The night holds each wish gently, as if to promise that the universe is always listening, patiently, for the heart's quiet call. Far above the festival, the moon sails quietly, casting its silver blessing across the rooftops and river. Lanterns appear like tiny stars born from earthbound wishes, drifting out to meet the night sky. The city glows with quiet unity, each person's dream illuminated in the gentle tide of light. Kyoto seems to hold its breath, honouring every hope, every longing, every message carried upon wind and water into the embrace of the night. With the festival's close, families and lovers wander home along softly lit streets, carrying the last warmth of lantern glow in their hearts. The laughter lingers, and even the silent spaces between footsteps feel gentle and kind. Each person leaves with more than they arrived: a story, a healing, or a single cherished memory burning quietly within. The Festival of Lights is not simply a night, it is a promise, renewed with every dawn that follows. As Kyoto settles into peaceful darkness, the fragrance of cherry blossoms drifts through quiet lanes, a final echo of celebration. Lanterns still drift in the distance, precious and fragile, like remembered wishes. The city stirs with gratitude and hope, ready to dream beneath the canopy of stars. Hearts and history will return, with new stories and histories of love, each crafted gently to warm your spirit and invite you, once again, into the glow of memory and longing. The festival slowly fades into the gentle hush of night. Lanterns flicker low, shadows lengthen, and laughter melts into memory. Beneath the flowering boughs, a couple linger, silhouettes sharing the final quiet moments before parting. Tonight, we walk with them, tracing each hush, every glance, as they compose a poem of farewell. In the fragile pause between heartbeats, love and longing entwine to create words meant to soothe the ache of goodbye. They find a quiet corner, away from the dwindling crowd. Lantern glows softening their features, reflecting in watchful eyes. With brushes poised, they dip into ink, hearts steady but tender. The ritual of parting begins. Each word chosen gently, each syllable a thread in an invisible tapestry. The world beyond seems suspended, caught in the hush that always follows joy. Their poem will linger as the lanterns last, glimmer its warmth carrying them across the distance soon to come. The tradition is old, rooted in centuries of ceremony and silent understanding. Parting poems are not simply farewells, They're bridges of hope and memory, strung between two souls who know the ache of temporary loss. These lines become keepsakes, small treasures slipped into sleeves, close to the heart. The gentle brush strokes of ink echo the careful steps of lovers as they navigate both presence and absence, weaving comfort out of longing and promise from impermanence. The couple speaks few words aloud, allowing the act of writing to say what cannot be voiced. Each listens for the silent music in the others, pauses the silent promises folded within every measured line. The cherry blossoms, soft and transient, drift down around them, a reminder that beauty often exists in what cannot remain. The lovers write for the future, inscribing hope and remembrance into verses designed to accompany each down an unfamiliar road. As ink meets paper, the world narrows to just two figures, each brushstroke a whisper of devotion. Their hands move carefully, trembling with the knowledge that this poem may be the last touch for some time. One line speaks to the moon's steady gaze, another names the lantern light reflected in beloved eyes. The poem gathers their parting into words designed to outlast goodbyes, a gentle anchor as the tide of time quietly, inevitably sweeps onward. The festival lanterns, now dim and scattered, curve a gentle path through the dusk. Around the couple, distant voices grow softer, more dreamlike, as the last notes of celebration fade into shadow. There is comfort in this quiet discipline pen on paper, a final gift exchanged before the world calls them to separate journeys. The poem, painstakingly crafted, is a message in a bottle floating down the river of memory, carried far from this single night. As the final characters are brushed onto the page, the two lovers pause to share their finished lines. One reads aloud, voice trembling just enough to reveal everything that cannot be hidden. Their words catch the hush in the air, a web of emotion spun between stillness and promise. Every syllable holds the memory of laughter, the echo of a shared festival, the taste of a farewell softened by poetry's gentle touch. Nothing is hurried, all is held sacred in this ritual. Each poem is different, and yet all share the same quiet, aketha soft determination to hold on, even as the world insists on letting go. The lovers listen to each other with full hearts, letting the lines sink in, imprinting every verse into memory. Tears shine quietly on cheeks kissed by lantern light. There is a satisfaction in this sadness, as if the act of parting, witnessed and honoured through poetry, transforms pain into beauty, longing into something tender and bold. The custom of parting poems stretches far beyond a single couple's story, a tradition passed down through families, friends, and beloveds across generations. Each poem becomes a thread in a much larger tapestry that connects people through shared experience, reminding each reader or listener that they are not alone. The ache of goodbye echoes in every era, but so too does the courage to mark it with art, with hope, and with words that endure. For those left behind, parting poems are like soft lanterns glowing in memory's dusk. Carried in hidden pockets, or unfolded beside a window on lonely nights, their verses promise reunion or solace. Even when the paper yellows and the ink blurs, the feelings pressed between each line linger unmistakably. A single word, read quietly, can illuminate weeks of longing and bring a distant voice close again, a comfort in the wandering hush that follows goodbye. As we listen to this couple share their poem, let us become witnesses to their care. Each phrase is more than language. It is a shelter for the heart, a place where absence turns into presence again. Farewells are woven into life, unavoidable as autumn among the blossoms. Yet, in honouring the moment together, and in giving voice to what aches quietly within, the lovers find kinship with all who have ever parted, and all who have ever hoped to return. Tonight, the air holds a particular sweetness, the kind that arrives when joy and sorrow meet gently in the middle. The blossoms, unfurling and falling, seem to applaud the courage it takes to say goodbye softly and without bitterness. In moments like these, both heartache and hope find expression. The poem becomes a bridge, stretching from this moment into every tomorrow. Departure no longer feels empty. Instead, it is imbued with meaning and gentle remembrance. The lovers rise together, poem in hand, eyes meeting in the softened glow of the last lantern. They exchange not only their verses, but also a quiet understanding that all things pass, and that every ending holds within it the seed of new beginnings. There is a reverence in their parting, a gratitude for having loved enough to feel this ache. With a bow, a final brush of fingers they turn, and begin their separate paths into the night. Walking away, the poem presses against one chest, a tiny heartbeat echoing alongside their own. Its lines shimmer in the memory of cherry blossoms and lanterns, refusing to fade. The festival is over, yet the world is newly rendered brighter for love, deeper for loss. In the silent company of the poem, solitude feels gentler, loneliness softened, as if the words themselves are small lanterns, illuminating the winding road that leads toward reunion or peace. There is something universal about the ache of parting, and culture has shaped rituals to honor it. In Edo-period Kyoto, this took the form of poetry composed amid lantern light and falling petals. For a moment, pain and love were allowed to coexist, each dignified by ritual. This small act, writing and giving a poem, reminds us that goodbye is not always a closing, but sometimes an invitation to remember, to cherish, and to hope anew. For the narrator, witnessing this exchange becomes a meditation on impermanence. The world is always. Dissolving blossoms fall, lanterns burn out, footsteps fade. Yet in each act of writing, something endures. Perhaps this is the miracle of poetry. It takes what vanishes and preserves it, not with clinging, but with gentle acceptance. Farewells become less final when inscribed into verse, gently lighting the landscape of memory long after the parting is done. Tonight, the soft sigh of the wind through branches carries the promise of return. The lovers apart now walk home, accompanied by the words they gave each other. Even in solitude, the poem's cadence lingers, a quiet pulse beneath the noise of everyday life. The ache of separation is real, but within it is a paradox. To love deeply is to risk loss, yet also to discover the comfort tucked inside a remembered line or a cherished verse. Cherry blossoms catch in hair and on shoulders, a gentle talisman against sadness. Each petal that lands is a tiny message. Beauty is always fleeting, and yet never truly lost. Poetry, too, is a way of holding on, of capturing the colour and grace of a single moment, then releasing it again. In this way, the lover's parting poem becomes a silent companion, drifting with them into the unknown, soft and luminous as the blossoms themselves. Let us reflect, for a moment, on the courage it takes to write a parting poem, not to cling, but to honour what must change. In these delicate lines, longing and gratitude blend, each word shaped by both presence and absence. To offer such a poem is to trust that love can weather distance, and that memory will keep beauty alive. When given with sincerity, words can outlast sorrow and gently light the path forward for both giver and receiver. The night deepens around Kyoto, drawing a peaceful curtain over the emptying streets and lantern-lit bridges. The couple's parting becomes a single, shimmering point in the city's vast tapestry of stories echoed by countless others who have walked and loved here. In the hush, the poem glows with quiet promise. Darkness cannot erase the delicate print of ink or the luminous feeling nestled inside. Even as the world changes, the ritual carries the tenderness of remembering. Imagine now the poem, carefully folded, slipping into a sleeve or nestled within a lacquered box. Days, weeks, perhaps months may pass before it is read again. The words wait patiently, unchanged, their meaning deepening with time and distance. When reopened, each phrase returns fresh as the night it was written. A lantern relit, a blossom recalled. In this way, parting is never absolute. Poetry forges connections that endure through season and shadow alike. In the quiet aftermath, the city returns to its rhythms, sweeping away petals, extinguishing lanterns. Yet somewhere, in a small house or a solitary room, the poem lives on. Late at night, its lines are whispered, traced along the edges of hope and longing. These verses born from a single festival, a single farewell now drift gently through time, bringing comfort to those who parted, and to all who hear the echo of such love in their own hearts. So, as dusk settles once more, remember the poetry of parting. It is a way to honor the cycles of closeness and distance, to give language to love that persists and transforms. Whether through ink or memory, quiet words can cradle us gently across each threshold. In the soft glow of a lantern or the fragile flutter of a falling blossom, we may glimpse how much beauty can be found within a single heartfelt goodbye. Thank you for joining this journey walking beside lovers who honor goodbye with poetry and tenderness. Their ritual is timeless, their ache universal, their hope enduring. May you carry the memory of their poem, a small lantern of your own, through the nights ahead. Love, expressed and cherished, lives on in every line we dare to write and every word we dare to share. Until our paths cross again, may poetry light your way, softly, kindly, always. Lanterns continue to glow softly in hidden corners of Kyoto, their candlelight flickering in the hush of evening. Each gentle gleam carries whispers of longing, memories swirling like petals on spring winds. With every nightfall, the city becomes a tapestry of light and remembrance. The narrator wanders these quiet streets, reflecting on rituals that keep hope alive. How these acts, gentle and persistent, let love echo long after lovers have parted ways. In the soft radiance of lanterns, time seems to slow. Shadows flutter across old cobblestones as if remembering footsteps from long ago. Even as distance grows between hearts, these rituals of illumination offer solace. An unspoken promise that love, though changed, continues to glow. In these nightly scenes, hope is kindled. Anew prayers bound in paper and firelight, drifting through the city, carrying silent wishes on their journey through the dusk. Echoes linger where two hands once met beneath the pale lantern light. The ritual of sending lanterns, once simple, now becomes a rite of memory, a way to keep longing from dissolving entirely. Each lantern released on the river is like a message: I remember, I hope, I wait. These quiet gestures form a bridge between past and present, letting devotion continue its gentle rhythm, sheltered in the glow of each flickering candle. Night after night, in the same silent corners, lanterns return. Their delicate shells crafted from rice paper, pressed with faint words or brushstroke haiku that speak of yearning, of cherry blossoms and moonlit separation. Their light trembles in the breeze, as if breathing with the city's own longing. The narrator reflects on how such rituals allow love's memory to endure, refusing to fade even as seasons pass and streets slowly empty. These lantern rituals are more than tradition. They are a language of patience and tenderness. Carried by gentle hands or guided along the water's flow, each glowing orb holds stories of parting and reunion, of silent vow and hopeful return. The narrator listens to the wind carrying faint laughter and old songs, recognizing that in this city, love isn't always found in grand gestures. Sometimes it lives quietly, sustained by candlelight and distant wishes. In the solitude after farewell, the act of lighting a lantern becomes both comfort and connection. For those left behind, tending to this small flame is a way to remain close, a silent invitation for memory to linger. As lanterns gather in doorways and rivers, their gentle radiance seems to soften sorrow, reminding all who see them that absence is not emptiness. It is simply the space where hope waits, patient and steadfast. With every glowing lantern, each flicker in the darkness, a new story is born, blending past with present. Old letters, folded and tucked beside the flame, become offerings, hopes sent into the vast, quiet city. The narrator wonders how many such lanterns have watched over secret tears, or floated alongside a heart's whispered longing. In their light, solitude becomes less sharp, replaced by a feeling of togetherness, softly kindled across distance and time. Sometimes, the smallest ritual holds the deepest meaning. A lantern set afloat upon a gentle stream, a name softly spoken beneath the moon. These are ways of calling love back into the world, of refusing to let parting turn to forgetting. The narrator pauses beneath an ancient willow, watching light patterns on the water, sensing that, through these rituals, hope renews itself, finding new forms, new ways to echo beneath the lantern light. It is said that lanterns never truly vanish from the city. Their light may dim, paper dissolve, but the memory endures stuck in hearts and drifting among the cherry trees. This tradition, repeated across generations, binds old and new together through luminous threads of longing. The narrator listens to the quiet hum of hope, feeling how these echoes become a gentle promise that love, once lit, remains, glowing softly, undiminished by distance or time. As seasons change, the ritual adapts. In spring, lanterns cradle fresh petals, their fragrance mingling with candle smoke. In autumn, golden leaves are pressed into the paper, carrying messages tinged with nostalgia. Through every transformation, the gesture remains the Samian act of devotion, quiet and enduring. The narrator observes how love finds resilience in these simple acts, how it turns even the passage of seasons into a soft reassurance, glowing in the half-light. In certain corners, lanterns cluster like star-stony constellations watching over the restless city. Each one marks a story, a hope, a name. The narrator sits by the riverbank, tracing the patterns of light among the reeds, wondering about those who once waited, who still wait. These lanterns become more than memory. They are companions to anyone who has ever loved and lost. Their glow both a farewell and a gentle, unwavering welcome. We learn, in this gentle ritual, that love does not end with parting. Rather, it transforms, gaining new ways to speak through candlelit hope, softly spoken prayers, lingering glances at the glowing horizon. The narrator finds comfort in this understanding, sensing the presence of unseen companions. For every lantern lit, another longing heart is soothed. Another story is carried forward. A gentle wind rustles through the city, sometimes snuffing a flame, sometimes making the lanterns dance. Each night there's the risk of darkness, yet still the candles are lit, lanterns carefully tended. This delicate persistence becomes a lesson in faith, believing that love, no matter how faint, is always worth keeping alive. The narrator smiles softly, recognizing these nightly acts as gifts, left behind for strangers, for future lovers, for anyone who needs the comfort of hope. Memories gather like dusk around the feet of the city. Along forgotten gardens and narrow lanes, lanterns cast their trembling gold. The narrator recalls portraits painted in light, two shadows lingering, faces tilted to catch the faintest glimmer. Rituals of sending lanterns hold both sorrow and release, teaching us to let go while also inviting the past to travel alongside. In lantern light, the heart finds the courage to remember and to look forward, both at once. Sometimes, lanterns are marked with the tenderest haiku, inked by hands that still remember the warmth of another's touch. Their verses tell of longing, of whispering rivers, silent bridges, petals caught in a gentle wind. Even once the ink fades, the meaning lingers in the memory of those who sent and received these glowing offerings. The narrator reflects on the beauty in words unspoken, stories left just out of reach, always illuminated by the patient lantern light. Beside ancient temple walls, lanterns assemble, even if the lovers who kindled them are long gone. In these acts, the city keeps promises alive. The narrator senses how every light is an invitation to remember, to hope, to keep hearts open through the hush of night. In a city shaped by absence, rituals like these are a balm. They tend the wounds of longing with warmth, allowing love's story to gently echo from one season to the next. The ritual endures because it welcomes silence as part of love's language. Lanterns glow not just for reunions, but for farewells, for quiet longing, for the simple act of caring from afar. In their soft illumination, even loneliness feels transformed, made gentle, less sharp. The narrator follows the glimmering trail, grateful for how lanterns let unspoken feelings find their way to light. Resting softly in the city amid falling blossoms and drifting night air. As the city sleeps, lanterns keep their vigil. Their light is a quiet answer to the darkness. Their presence a refusal to allow forgetting. Through shuttered windows and mist-covered alleys, they reassure every wandering heart that love's memory is welcome here. The narrator watches the city from a hillside, awed by this unbroken constellation. Each lantern is a testament to gentle perseverance, a promise that the flame of hope never fully fades, even in deepest night. With careful hands, new lanterns are crafted perhaps by those just beginning their own stories, or by elders tending the flames of remembrance. The city's tradition grows richer with every passing year, each new light mingling with the old. The narrator marvels at how this cycle endures, each lantern a reflection of both longing and comfort, each act of lighting an invitation for love's echo to return, soft and steady across the seasons and through the years. In the space between parting and reunion, rituals like these keep hope alight. The narrator listens for the sounds of paper lanterns brushing branches, the gentle splash as one is set afloat. It is in these quiet gestures that love is allowed to stretch beyond absence, finding its shape in patience, memory, and luminous trust. Each lantern, carried by wind or hand, tells a story that neither distance nor silence can diminish. A story that glows softly through every dusk. The city wakes to soft traces of light, reminders of the night's gentle vigil. Lanterns are gathered, petals swept from stone, yet their meaning remains for every light tended. A bit more hope lingers on. The narrator finds peace in these morning rituals, seeing how, even after the candles have faded, the gestures endure. Love's echo does not vanish with dawn. It lingers, a hush in the heart, a memory carried forward, illuminated by quiet acts of devotion. In stories passed from one generation to the next, lantern rituals gather new shades of meaning. Children are taught to light candles, to whisper wishes as they send lanterns drifting at dusk. The city's memory deepens, each new layer nourishing the old. The narrator smiles at the thought, how rituals of longing become lessons in gentleness, teaching all who practice them that love's echo grows stronger with time, lantern by lantern, heart by willing heart. Though the lanterns may flicker, and the night may seem endless, hope endures in the repetition of these small ceremonies. Each act of lighting, of releasing, becomes an offering, a quiet assurance that love, even after parting, never fully disappears. The narrator rests a hand upon the ancient stones, grateful for a city that shelters both memory and hope, where the gentle art of longing is embraced, and the story of love glows on in every lantern's steady light. So even as footsteps fade and new seasons begin, the lanterns of Kyoto continue their gentle vigil. Their glow weaves through the city, illuminating hearts both near and far, letting longing give way to comfort and hope. The narrator's voice, soft and calm, draws this chapter to a close, inviting listeners to remember that love's echo, once kindled, remains, alive in each ritual, each whispered wish, and in every lantern shining quietly against the night. Spring returns once more to Kyoto. Cherry trees come alive with soft blossoms, painting the quiet lanes in delicate pink. The city sighs with renewal, and with each blossom, the heart remembers love's enduring presence. In these gentle days, the ancient rhythm of poetry stirs again. Listeners, let us wander beneath the trees where lanterns still flutter, and shadows tell their stories, whispering secrets old and ever new in the hush of evening. The air is cool but sweet, filled with drifting petals and the gentle hum of anticipation. As spring unfolds, so do the old traditions. Couples and quiet souls gather beneath the cherry trees, lanterns aglow with soft candlelight. The city seems to pause, held in the embrace of dusk. There, new poems and promises find their voice. Love, as patient as the seasons, unfurls quietly, carried on the breeze and in the hopeful flicker of every lantern. Centuries have passed since the first haiku floated on paper lanterns down the shallow streams of Kyoto. Yet, each spring, lovers feel the ancient pull, pen and brush awaken, guided by memory and inspiration. A fresh blossom invites a fresh verse. Beside the water's edge, laughter mingles with poetry, and longing becomes language. In these rituals, the present reaches back to the past, and new devotion is born, as sure as the return of the cherry blossoms. Under the illuminated branches, someone ties a ribbon around a poem, hope and vulnerability bound together in a gesture older than the city itself. Secrets and dreams are exchanged with just a glance, a gently folded paper. For those who wait and those who long, these moments hold the promise that every spring will bring the chance to begin again. Petals drift downward, silent and profound, carrying each whispered wish through the lantern-lit night. The humble haikuanly, a handful of syllables carries generations of emotion. One line to capture a yearning, another to taste the sweetness of reunion, the last to rest within a memory. As each poem travels from hand to hand, heart to heart, the bonds between lovers grow ever more delicate yet deeper with every word. And there, beneath the watchful cherry trees, language itself seems to glow, a living testament to love's persistence. Even as the city awakens and the moon glides west, lanterns remain softly swaying, letters tucked inside, ready to be discovered or carried away on the night breeze. The ritual continues, folded wishes, gentle laughter, the silence that follows when words are not enough. In these moments, love feels endless, a thread woven through centuries, connecting hearts across time and change. Under the blossoms, the old magic lingers, comforting in its constancy. Spring is always a beginning in Kyoto, like the first lines of a new poem or the spark of a new affection. As each sun sets, shadows dance between the lanterns, and every tree becomes a keeper of secrets. Lovers walk quietly, hands nearly touching, exchanging brief smiles that say more than words. Through it all, hope breathes softly, reminding all who pause to listen that love, like the trees, will always bloom again. Stories drift from blossom to blossom, some as old as the stones underfoot, some as fresh as this morning's dew. People come from distant places seeking the wisdom of Kyoto's cherry trees and lanterns. Mothers telling children tales of their own first poems. Old friends brushing ink on fresh rice paper. Faces glow in the candlelight, illuminated by memory. And where laughter and longing mingle, community blossoms just as vibrant as the trees themselves. At dusk, the city grows quiet. Only the call of a distant bell and the low murmur of voices remain. Lanterns and blossoms become indistinguishable in the gathering haze. Paper poems sway gently, waiting sometimes unread, always hopeful. In this hush, hearts open. There is no rush, only the slow unfolding of affection, as natural and unhurried as the breeze that stirs the petals and carries wishes gently into the coming night. Some letters go unanswered, some lanterns sink before their message is found, yet hope remains season after season, poem after poem. Perhaps that is the quiet beauty of these rituals, their endurance, no matter the fate of each message. The promise that love is not less for its uncertainty. For each new spring brings another chance, another blossom, another poem to be written and shared beneath the cherry tree's patient guard. The old poets believed the cherry blossom's brief life was a lesson. Beauty, they said, is most precious when it is fleeting. And so, each spring, their verses return, written anew, celebrating not the certainty of love, but its willingness to begin again, despite every ending that came before. In the lantern glow, lovers become poets, and poets become silent witnesses to the ever-turning cycle of desire, devotion, and hope swelling in the heart. Children twirl under the branches, laughter blending with the quiet conversations of elders. Somewhere, a musician plucks gentle notes that drift over the crowd. All around, petals float like confetti, and each lantern's light wobbles, reflecting on the canal. It is easy to believe, here in the calm of renewal, that every heart can heal. Each wound may find comfort in the return of spring. in the soft glow of a poem read aloud beneath the stars. Night deepens, the lantern processions grow thin, yet some linger, unwilling to leave the company of the trees. A hush falls, broken only by the quiet scratching of pen on paper and the occasional contented sigh. It is in these solitary hours that the truest words often emerge, written with trembling hands, filled with gentle honesty. When morning comes, the poems left behind will brighten another's day. As the dawn scatters the last shadows, as seasons turn, old letters become cherished keepsakes, pressed between the pages of diaries, saved in silk-wrapped boxes, or tucked among the roots of the oldest cherry trees. These mementos bear witness to promises, made, hearts opened, and time's gentle healing. Carried from spring to spring, they tell a quiet story, one that endures in ink, candlelight, and the breeze. Love, here, is not only felt, but remembered, honoured by each new blossom. No two springs are exactly alike, yet each holds the same anticipation. The first bud, the first night the lanterns are lit, the first poem sent and received. Each moment is both new and familiar, echoing with all the springs that came before. In this way, love and poetry in Kyoto are timeless, ever renewing, never quite repeating. Each year, the dance resumes gentle, fragrant, awash in the colours of memory and hope, promising stories still to be shared. Tonight, as the last lanterns are carried away and footsteps fade, the heart of the city beats softly. The rituals may change with each generation, yet the longing for connection remains. Perhaps, in this continuity, there is comfort, knowing that somewhere beneath the cherry blossoms, a new poem is always waiting to be written. New love is always on the verge of blossoming, quietly, beautifully, just out of sight, but never out of reach. Long after the petals fall, the spirit of spring lingers in the minds of those who pass beneath these trees. Even as lanterns are tucked away and poems folded into memory, something remains, a gentle assurance that life's sweetest joys return. Again and again, for every ending, there is a beginning. For every quiet night, a morning blooming with possibility, such as the promise of Kyoto, and of every tradition that honours love's resilience. From the poets of centuries past to the quiet lovers of today, each voice adds its thread to the tapestry of the city. Under the cherry blossoms, even the shyest hope is given the chance to shine soft as lantern light, persistent as spring's return. In the gentle hush of evening, stories come alive, carried forward to new seasons and new hearts. Each letter written, each poem whispered, extends the legacy of devotion etched into Kyoto's springtime. If you close your eyes and listen, you might hear the faintest echo, laughter, a whispered vow, the brush of a hand trailing petals. These are the sounds that quietly shape the rhythm of spring, as vital as breath, as fleeting as the blossoms themselves. To bear witness is to join the story too, become, in some small way, part of the endless tradition of poetry, devotion, and gentle longing that brings light to the heart of the city. Let each lantern lit tonight be a wish released on the air, an invitation to hope, to remember, to love again as they drift. They illuminate faces, moments, dreams, both new and old. In their glow, the distance between people softens, as if the world, for one quiet evening, is held together by possibility alone. Beneath the cherry blossoms, even the most hesitant heart finds courage to send its truth into the night. A poet once wrote, beneath the falling petals, that the best of feelings are too gentle for words. Perhaps this is the secret the blossoms keep. Perhaps that is why, year after year, haiku are written, hopes are whispered, and lanterns are lit. We try, always, to capture something that can only be felt in the hush before dawn, or in the first sight of pink against a twilight sky. Such moments linger even as they pass. So as another spring draws to a close, the rituals remain. Lanterns and letters, poetry and patient hope, each one a tribute to all who came before, and to all who will come again beneath these trees. May each listener, wherever you find yourself, carry a little of this soft renewal with you. May you feel, as those in Kyoto do, the timeless comfort of love, reborn in gentle glowing light and in the promise of another blossom. With every season, something new is learned, perhaps a lesson in tenderness, or courage, or letting go. Sometimes, simply the joy of waiting for beauty and accepting its return. It is not always the words that matter most, but the willingness to open one's heart once more, to share, to dream, to hope. These are the gifts that Kyoto's spring bestows, again and again, weaving each listener into the greater story. And so, as lanterns dim and blossoms flutter softly to earth, the story lingers gentle, full of promise, renewed each spring. Thank you for joining us in this journey through Kyoto's traditions of love, poetry, and hope. May your days be touched by beauty, your nights by warmth, and your heart always open to the quiet wonder of connection. Until next time, let new poems find you, and may each season bring its own calm and gentle new beginning.